Both of those novels explore big ideas surrounded around identity, self-love, and becoming the best version of ourselves. This channel was created so that we can further explore those ideas together through a virtual book club type atmosphere. We will be interviewing pastors, therapists, and people from all walks of life so that we can all do the work and grow together to become our realest, truest, bestest selves. Truth with I don't know. So hello everyone and welcome. All right. So I am super duper duper excited. We're going to be um, pretty much premiering the YouTube channel or the Edge Book Club. So what I'm going to do first is I want to introduce you guys to some people that I have here with me. So first we're going to start with my auntie. You know how you have like godparents? I have like god aunties. And this is Miss Cynthia. Go ahead and unmute and say hello. Can you see it?
Hi, everyone.
All right. She is like literally been a part of every single thing in my life. And I'm so excited that she's here with us. Okay. Then we have my bestie from, I don't know, she's from all over. But anyways, we've got Jessica in the house. She has a whole lot of like really cool stuff, coming up. So make sure you go follow her on Instagram at Jess Talks 726. Go follow her. You will not be disappointed. And she's got a lot of cool things cooking up. I have some really good friends from high school, but then sometimes God pushes people in your life that he places people in your life. You know how they say iron sharpens iron. Get you some friends that are iron. That's me and Jessica all day. So thank you for coming. All right. So with that being said, everyone keeps asking me questions like, what is this? Why are we here? Oh, that baby y'all just heard, my other friend Shay, she's in the background. She's shy, doesn't want to be on the camera, but she's been here helping me with all the background stuff. So I'm super duper duper excited that she's here, and she's been great. She's here with a whole baby on her hip and one in her belly, but she's up here helping me out. So I appreciate that. All right. So everyone keeps asking me, what is Edge? Why do you keep calling us Edges? Blah, blah, blah. So basically, I wrote this beautiful novel. Hello, my name is, and I have daddy issues. And as I was writing the novel, I kind of went through like a transformation kind of where there were so many revelations and things that were placed on my heart via like the Holy Spirit. And I really grew through writing this novel. And I wanted to create something where the readers, my family, my friends could also experience those same things that I was feeling, because I felt like I grew and came out as just like a completely different person. So I wrote the interactive guide, which goes along with the novel. And so basically, it's broken down into steps here, and each step has a different revelation or something that you're working on to kind of better yourself. And so today we're focusing on step 1. Now, if you haven't read the novel yet, it's okay. There will not be any spoilers today. Step 1 is a preview of what's to come. It's actually a pre-read step. So if you haven't read the novel, it's okay. No spoilers. This is the step we do before we jump in. All right. So now that I have these beautiful people here with me, before I do that, I want to explain too what edges are. So the book club, the name of the book club that goes along, really, I wanted to create a space to where we could all support one another. So it's super funny because I'm like, okay, you read the novel, you get inspired, then what? Oh, you do the interactive guide, and now you have the steps, and you're able to pull out some things that you didn't even know were in there. But then, like, who do you take that to? Who do you do it with? What happens after you get these revelations? So I went on this journey and started interviewing therapists, pastors, married folks, single folks, just people from all walks of life and different backgrounds so that I could give some context and push it further and people could really get engaged with this. So that is called EDGE, which stands for Every Day Give Everything. That is the virtual book club that I created to help go along with this. And today is the series premiere. Woo! Miss Cynthia, get excited. Yeah. So that is the series. Today is a series premiere where we're going to do episode 1. We're going to watch it together, and I cannot wait. Now, I also want to take a step and ask, okay, so Miss Cynthia, did you get a chance to look through this?
Yes, I did.
Yes. Did you do step 1?
Yes, I did.
How did you feel? What are your thoughts?
Well, it was very, like you said, it's really eye-opening, and it makes you think back on stuff I hadn't even really thought about. I'm like, okay, so now you see why you do stuff you do now as a grown-up.
Right. Yeah.
I'm like, oh wow. So it's going to be a self-check.
What is it? It's a what now?
A self-check.
Yes, self-check. That's what it's all about. Checking back in and saying like, that's why I do that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad.
So I'm definitely have to call my mom tonight.
Yes. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Call your mom and say, why was this happening in my life? Do you know?
Yeah, believe me. I didn't even write in the book. I had cards.
You had to do. I love it. Well, of step 1, there's a couple exercises in there. Which one was the most like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening? Okay, we got Miss Deidre joining in with us. All right, world, here is the beautiful Deidre Green. Woo! She's joining the party. She's also another. I can't hear you yet.
Connect her audio.
There we go.
Okay, what's up, people? Okay, I'm ran in the house. I'm like, ah.
Yes, see, she's the hype one, Miss Cynthia. So Miss Deidre is another one of those god aunties I was telling y'all about. I don't have god mommies, I have god aunties, and they literally have been like my guardian angels. So welcome to the party.
Okay.
So I was just asking Miss Cynthia, which one of the exercises within step 1 of the interactive guide really like stood out to you? So Miss Cynthia was about to tell us.
Okay.
Oh, what stood out to me?
Yes, you were saying the one that stood out.
Because I ain't.
Oh wow. I don't even know where to begin. Just, I guess, the safety and security part.
Where you had to recall certain moments where you.
Yes, I think that I like that part because it does make you think about it, and I guess for me, when I opened up and I went through this stuff here, I'm like going, wow, I need to really go back to my kids and apologize somewhere.
Yeah, like,
but it's not like but you see where you're not holding yourself. How you say you shouldn't beat yourself up because it was what you're taught.
Exactly. That's the whole point, is pulling it out and then saying. So she's speaking about this part where they went and pulled out specific.
Yeah. They went and pulled out. I didn't.
You didn't?
She was a bad one. You know that
one, okay.
She's the bad auntie.
Oh,
I know.
But okay, because she's the party 18. That's why.
Okay, exactly. Too much. Okay, I'm gonna do that. Oh, I'm gonna do that. That's what happened.
Well, what did you think of the packaging, at least?
Oh, I love the packaging. I like it. It says,
I also love my autographed version.
Yeah, she said.
I like that. She just copied off of mine. Hey, I didn't get that many words.
Listen, I'm about to mute both of y'all in 2 seconds.
I didn't get that many words in mine.
But you don't fry no catfish for her either.
Okay. Moving on. This is going all the way left, right, upside down, around the corner into the park. So we're gonna kick it over to Jessica. While Ethel and Lucy down there argue. Jessica actually read the manuscript. So she
where you go, Jessie?
With the typos and the change this and change that. And she's probably read this more than me, because I'm like, Fran, check this out. Fran, what you think? And so she was there with me while I was writing it. So Jess, knowing that step 1 is all about digging up the root and going back and thinking about times where your core longings weren't met, how do you feel it correlates as a pre-read to the novel?
Um, it they go hand in hand, because even though it's a novel, you do such a good job at telling a story while wrapping in there like lessons and opportunities for vulnerability, even with yourself, that they correlate very well to me. And I really like the fact that you decided to do a novel instead of like a self-help book, because it makes the blows of what you discover about yourself less hard or less harsh. You know what I mean? Like, you feel like you're going through this with someone else, even though it's a character in the book. So I think that's probably one of my favorite things about Hello, I Have Daddy Issues, and then the interactive guide to go with it.
Yay, thank you, Jess. I'm so glad you are here. So, it's time. So we're gonna head over to Facebook right now. I'm gonna share my screen. And are y'all ready for this premiere?
Yeah.
Let's get it. All right. Okay. Let's do this. So go ahead and so pretty much, let me give my disclaimer before we play. Let me give my disclaimer. This video was shot while I was in China, and the woman in the video was in Michigan. So we were dealing with a lot of internet issues and things like that. So even if the video is not as clear, the content is amazing. So stay tuned. You don't have to adjust your screen. It's me, not you. All right. So let me go ahead and start the screen share. You guys can go ahead and mute for me. And here we go. Okay. Going down in 1 minute. Can you guys see it? Well, since we got time, we can go ahead on and see. Have any of you other ladies, Miss Cynthia, I know you read the novel, right?
Yeah, I need to go back. You know, I'm old.
Miss Deidre, is there anything you can pull out? Did you read any parts? These are the aunties. They will buy whatever you're selling. They may not eat it, they may not drink it, but they gonna buy it. They gonna support.
What support now? Hello.
They gonna support. So we're down to 15 seconds. Huh?
I started reading it, but I stopped because I thought we weren't supposed to read. But I'm gonna mute myself because we got 5 seconds.
Yeah, 4. Let's count down. 3, 2. Here we go. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Moffat Books Presents Edge, a virtual book club. I am so excited that you have chosen to join my virtual book club, which makes you one of my edges. And in the very wise words of my niece, if you don't have edges, they don't have nothing. Now, before we continue, make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell. That way you are notified every time a new video drops. Consider this to be your spoiler alert, because we will be using the interactive guide for our first series of book club meetings. That's right, for the next 10 sessions, we will be using the exercises in that interactive guide. So make sure you get to moffatbooks.net to get your copy today. Now that we've got all the housekeeping out the way, how about we jump into some content? Every day, every escape, read, truth with Molly Books. This week's topic in the interactive guide is surrounded around our core longings and how they affect the type of people we become. And here to help me speak on this topic is none other than Miss Candace Purefoy. She's a mommy, she's a wife, she's a minister, she's a counselor. Let's just say she does it all. And I'm so excited that she is here to help us discuss this topic today. So, Miss Candace, can you please share a bit of your background and how it relates to this topic?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. It is just such a joy and a pleasure to express this and to go through this information with you. So, like you said, I am a licensed professional counselor. I am a therapist in the state of Michigan. I own Refreshed Counseling Services, which is a Metro Detroit area counseling practice centered around helping believers to bridge the gap between ministry and mental health.
No matter what your beliefs are, there's someone out there that can help you through this journey. So I'm very, very excited. The interactive guide that we are featuring for this book club is pretty much a series of 10 different entries. And so the very first entry that we will be focused on today is called Digging Up the Root. I truly believe that it's very important before we can do any work inside, we have to find the root, name it, dig it up, and figure out what it is that has us that gives us the wounds and the pain and the things that we carry around. So in that section, we focused on the core longings and things like that. So I would like to ask you, Miss Candace, to explain what are core longings and how do they affect us as humans?
We are created with a God-shaped hole, a chasm, if you will, within us that is designed for God to fill, right? And so what tends to happen as we are children, we're looking for our parents to fill that hole. We're looking for them to fill that chasm. And there are areas at times that because of their own faults, flaws, experiences, things that they have had in life, there can be parts and areas that go missed. So when we talk about what are those core longings, what's in that chasm, what are we looking to feel? It's love, it's purpose, it's significance, it's acceptance, it's security, it's safety. And so when our parents are unable to meet some of those needs or some of those core longings go unmet, that's when we can find ourselves moving toward and experiencing dysfunctional behaviors. We develop out of our wounds. When we look at the structure of woundedness, we can develop false beliefs about ourselves and the world and our place within it.
You mentioned that like our parents are the ones that we depend on to kind of fill these core longings, right? Is it that we can only get these fulfilled with our parents, or can we seek other healthy ways to satisfy those longings?
So we definitely look to other sources to find and fill these needs. And the unfortunate reality is that most often they are unhealthy. All of this usually is built on false beliefs. So when we have a core longing that goes unmet, let's say there's an unmet core longing of acceptance, for example, we can very often then develop out of that wound, out of that place of having this unmet core longing of acceptance, we can develop a false belief that says, if I am truly myself with people, people will reject me. If I show them who I am, they're going to reject me and not want me. Well, based on that wound, then what we might develop based on that unmet core longing and that false belief, we might develop people-pleasing behaviors. Where now we're not showing people who we really are, we're showing them whatever we think they want to see so that they will continue to accept us. You see, so we're not allowing ourselves to be our full, authentic self in order to receive what it is that we're actually looking for. So ultimately, the core longing still goes unmet because we're not truly being accepted for who we are.
I think that is so deep, like just to think about just different mechanisms and things that we've put up as defenses, we end up almost I don't know, tricking ourselves or believing that this is who I am. This is
Yes.
what I do, when that's not who we are really. But we've been doing it for so long that sometimes we don't even know that that's what we're engaging in.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. We can really dissolute ourselves, and we can find ourselves taking on what the world has tried to give us about who we are. And so now we have an identity that it has nothing to do with who we really are, but is what we have allowed to be put upon us. And so now we're trying to get needs met for a person or a persona that is actually not even who we are. One of the things about unmet core longings, it can leave us very vulnerable to addictive behaviors. We can find ourselves trying to find those needs met in various, you can think of any type of obsessive or compulsive behaviors like food, sexual addictions, pornography, substances, smoking, anything. We can find ourselves vulnerable to addictive behaviors. And then also, we often try to meet those needs out of what I refer to as the 3 Ps, which is people pleasing, performance based living, and perfectionism. We will often try to meet those needs on our own in those three, somewhere in that camp of those 3 behaviors.
Wow, people pleasing, performance, and perfectionist.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Like, I'm trying to, in my mind, I'm like, I'm pretty sure I've done all 3 of those things. Like, because
yes.
you just, when you're longing for something, it's literally like out of desperation, you will do whatever it is that you need to get that. Is it possible to be triggered later on and be able to live your whole life, and something gets triggered, maybe in your adult life or in your first real relationship, that makes you say, geez, like, where did this come from?
Yeah, absolutely. We very often live unaware of what our deeper issues lie, because if you think about our emotional sort of way of being, if you think of it like an iceberg, right? There's the part of the iceberg that is above the surface, but then there's a much bigger part that's below the water. We see the above surface, so we might see some of the dysfunctional behaviors and problem life situations, but oftentimes we don't see the false beliefs and the wounds that actually are fueling those things. So we can absolutely live unaware of what was missed. The other thing is that for us growing up, we come into this world not knowing what normal, quote unquote, is. What we experience in our household with our families, that's what shapes our idea of normality. If we, let's say, for example, a father specifically, if we have a father who's emotionally unavailable and is withdrawn, or distant, then we tend to believe very often that that's just how things are. We may grow up not realizing what the effects of that actually are until much later, or until there's some intervention in our lives that illuminates and sheds light on the fact that these things are connected.
Oh, that makes so much sense, because I came from a 2-parent household. I pretty much was born into the church. Like, father has always been a leader. My mom has always been a leader in the church. So I've never wanted, struggled, nothing. Like, we were very upper middle class. Like, we were good. We were solid. And so then when I see myself engaging in these behaviors, like, what? And it's not necessarily a dig on what your parents did, but they did the best that they knew, right? And so it's not that, like, I always use the example of, like, my dad was a coach a lot. Like, now that we're older and we're able to say daddy, like, I just need a hug. He's like, oh, okay. But when we were younger, you know, he was the coach. He wanted us to always be best, the best that we could be. So if I was singing a solo, if I messed up, he let me know. If I preached a sermon and he thought I missed something, he let me know. And it wasn't that he didn't think I was great. It was that he was seeing past where I was and was trying to get me to where he thought I could go. But as a child, I'm taking that in as now I have a performance addiction and I want everyone to tell me that I'm great. And if you don't tell me that I'm great, then that means I'm not great.
Yes.
And so then I become an adult and I literally could walk in a room and if you didn't tell me that I was pretty, then that means whatever I had on wasn't right. It's not because my dad didn't tell me I wasn't pretty. It's not because my dad abused me. It's because the way that he parented me kind of fed into what I thought was normal. And I think that is the best thing, that was the best thing that you could have said right now, because in my mind, I have come to this idea that like we call them daddy issues. That's kind of what pop culture has labeled it. But I took that out and said that it's actually that the core of me is longing for something that I need, but I don't know that I'm longing for it because I've never had it fulfilled. So that's kind of what I'm struggling from. But because of pop culture, we just say daddy issues, but it could mean just something, anything that didn't happen in your childhood. One of the reality checks in this first entry is after you list all of the things, like when were these core values ever missed in my life? If you can recall a specific time, then at the end, the reality is you have daddy issues with the pop culture label, right? You have something in there that you should explore. And I don't want people to feel like I'm forcing them to admit something that's so awful. It doesn't mean that you didn't have a good dad. It just means your dad, your mom, whatever, they cannot fulfill every single thing 100% of the time.
Yeah, you're 100% right. Because for one, remember that this chasm is designed for God to fill. And our parents cannot be God. They can never do all that he can do. It doesn't mean that because a core longing was missed, that we are now on a path to an emotionally unwell life, you know, that we're doomed to just sort of like, oh, it's going downhill. That's not the case. This is normal standard life development stuff, because our parents will always have something that they have missed. No parent can be God, so they cannot completely fill this gap.
What's next after I know, okay, I have issues. Now what?
We move into adulthood. We're able to start acknowledging, becoming aware of, okay, this is the need that I didn't get. This is the need that has gone unmet. One of the things that we want to talk about and look at is the concept of reparenting. And especially for those of us in the body of Christ or believers, it's that idea of letting God be Father to us. So I would say the first most important, most impactful step is go to therapy. Therapy can really be an important place where you can begin to unpack all of these things, and where we can help develop a set plan on how to navigate and how to actually work through these issues. Because one thing that can feel at times very heavy when we step into the place of awareness and we start uncovering the issues that we have, they can feel very numerous, right? It can feel like, oh my goodness, I got this issue and that issue and this issue, and we just start feeling a little bit weighted down. But through therapy, you can begin to see that really, even though it feels like we have all of these separate issues everywhere, you can really begin to see that those issues usually stem from one root of a tree. Those are branches, but it's really just one root. And so that's one of the most impactful things that you can do. And you can really, I like to say that prayer, of course, is going to be a big part of it. But I like to say that prayer is the weapon. That's what's going to get the job done. But therapy is the battle plan. That's where you can know how to direct your prayers. What is it that I need God to help with? The other important thing is really being patient and kind with ourselves. To engage any process of healing from these types of issues, it's going to take time and it's going to take work. And so as you work through it, give yourself the grace and patience and kindness that you deserve.
I love that. Give yourself the grace and patience and kindness. I think it's so easy to extend that to everyone else, and we forget to give it to ourselves as well. We're so hard on ourselves. I just want everyone to know the purpose of all of this is just first commit to doing the work that we need to do to make ourselves our best, truest selves. And the way that we do that is by acknowledging that something was missed, giving it a name, finding the root, and then going through those steps, getting the therapy, praying, and reading the truths in the word of what God says about you. And that is what is true, and living out in those truths. So I'm so excited that we're on this journey together. So, but Candace, before I let you go, it's time for the shameless plug section.
Plug it in, plug it in. If you are in need of or interested in some therapy, particularly faith-based or Christian therapy, find me at refreshedcounseling.com. That's REFRESHED counseling.com. Also, I do have a line of t-shirts, with our signature t-shirt being one that says Jesus, Coffee, Therapy, Repeat. I call it the formula. Jesus, Coffee, Therapy, Repeat. So you can purchase those as well. Those are available. And coming up soon, you can actually get involved in coaching. If you are maybe you're not looking for a therapeutic process, but if you are looking for coaching to deal with the issues of people-pleasing, performance-based living, and perfectionism, you can contact me and sign up for our Shine program. Let your light so shine that men will see the Lord in you. So if you're interested in that coaching program, you can contact us as well, again, at REFRESHED counseling.com.
Just being completely transparent. She would never share this because she's that great, but I've had a few sessions with Miss Candace and they are amazing. I mean, I wrote a whole book and stuff. So I'm telling you, you will not be disappointed. All right, it is time to call our very first book club meeting to an end. Please, please, please leave a comment below. Let us know what you think. Let me know if you have any feedback, and just if you got anything out of it. It's always great to hear from you, the reader. All right, we'll see you next time. With Marvelous. All right, everyone. And we're back from outer space. Hold on, it's gonna play again. Let me get it off the loop. Escape, read, truth. All right. Let's get back to it. What do you guys think? Episode 1. What were some of your takeaways?
It was really, really, really good. I think one of my takeaways is that those unmet needs, reframing it from just throwing it in the bucket of daddy issues and being able to put language to it and say, oh, this is an unmet need. And then how I get that need met, like identifying that what it is and then the solution to it. I think that's one of my biggest takeaways, just identifying what my unmet needs are so that later on I can be able to say this, or going throughout my life, these are what my needs are, even in other relationships, and maybe not depending on those other relationships to meet those needs either.
That's good. That's the biggest piece, is saying, like, we just call them all daddy issues, but that's just more like a pop culture type of term. It's
Yeah.
like, no, this is just something that I was missed or jumped over when I was little. And I know when I first started writing the book, my dad was worried, like, are you just bashing dads? Are you just
Yeah.
are you just bashing men?
Yeah.
And I'm
And
like,
then,
no.
yeah, identifying that it wasn't necessarily intentional either. Like,
Exactly. Because we have enough of that, right? We have enough people out there bashing, especially bashing Black fathers and things like that. And that is not what this is. I'm not a part of that movement. It's all about literally just identifying those things that were missed. And like Jessica pointed out, it's not that it was intentional, and it doesn't necessarily mean you had a bad dad.
Yeah, but
So,
you don't want to bring it into another relationship either, like she was saying.
yeah, say that again, Miss Cynthia.
You don't want to bring it into another relationship either.
Right. And what the therapist Candace, she's amazing. She shout out to her. She was super gracious for doing that interview with me. But you're right, she's saying a lot of times those things you don't even know until you're in a relationship and something gets triggered,
Yes.
and your significant other or even your friend. There are times when me and Jessica will be like, why you say it like that? She's like, what? What? And you get triggered and you don't even realize that it's happening until you're in a committed relationship. And it doesn't always mean with the guy or with the female. Sometimes it's with your friends. Ms. Deidre, do you have any takeaways? You muted. You muted, boo.
My takeaway is I needed this when I was younger. But anywho, I saw myself in a lot of the situations when, going through life, going through experiences and seeing, the things that I did that I say I wasn't going to do, but because I I saw what my mom went through and how she handled things. And I think back long time ago when I was in a relationship and I kept saying, no, I'm never going to do that. I'm not going to allow this to happen. But you actually subconsciously allow those things to happen. It might be in a different way where you might saw your parents physically abused, but you were mentally abused in that same fashion, and you saying I would never let that happen, but in actuality, it's happening. And just think back when I experienced that and I saw that happen in my relationship, and I came out of that. So that's why I'm saying that a lot of this I can relate to, I can see, and I can experience some of that where you get to the root of the issue of what's going on, and then you realize that it has to be dealt with for you to move on. I don't know if you guys got anything out of that, but I got it out.
Oh,
I got something out of it.
yeah.
for
Even
sure.
Yes.
yeah, and even in friendships and relationships, people, like you said, things get triggered, and you got to realize, like, sometimes I have friends that things get triggered, and I'll be like, okay, girl, don't even go there. I know what that is, but we can move on with that. Sometimes you help them along because you done been through it. You help them along by saying, you know what, it ain't even that. Let's not focus on that part. It's got to be something else, and we can move forward.
Yeah, so you said a couple key things too that I want to pull out. That one thing you were saying, sometimes the abuse or whatever it is isn't necessarily happening directly to you. Things
Mm-hmm.
that you've seen are
Mm-hmm.
also a part of your experiences,
Mm-hmm.
right? So even if you grow up thinking, okay, I was never in a relationship where someone physically put their
Mm-hmm.
hands on me or someone physically did this or this happened, but there are still like the effects of whatever it is that you saw that's still in there. And so maybe
Mm-hmm.
something may be said or done that may trigger
Mm-hmm.
that a response where you're ducking or you're doing things, and they're like, what are you doing? I would never hit you. And you're like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where that came from, because your
Mm-hmm.
body remember your mind, your brain remembers trauma. That's what fear is, right?
Yeah,
It's
and
remembering,
you.
saying,
Mm-hmm.
oh, don't, oh, when this happens, it connects it together. And so you're
Yes.
thinking a raised voice might mean abuse, so I have to
Mm-hmm.
flee or run.
Mm-hmm.
and and so that was that. And something else you said, um was you said it, you have to truly dig it up and deal with it to move past it. And that's why that step is called dig up the root, because we spend forever identifying, right? Oh, you have issues, or oh, when I was young, this happened to me, and that's why I messed up. Okay, so now dig it
But
up
now what?
and let's nurse it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Let's nurse it. What do you do when a tree or a plant, for example, you can plant a tree in a pot, but when you get it home, what do you have to do in order for it to fully grow and flourish?
You got to take care of it and nurture it.
You got to take care of it, nurture it, but can you keep it in the pot? Can you
Well,
keep it in
No,
sometimes
the
you
you,
got to
you
put
have
it
to
in a bigger pot.
repot it. You have to
You either
redo
have
it.
to, yeah, you have to repot it and keep repotting it as the tree grows, as the roots spread, or the tree's gonna what? Die.
Yeah.
So that means you have to pay attention to it. You got to see the signs. You got to, be tentative.
Exactly. And so you have to look at yourself as when these things start happening, and as you're healing and you're growing and you're getting better and better and better, you have to sometimes repot yourself, reposition yourself, put yourself in a different environment, put yourself in, surround yourself around more positive people, whatever it is. And then
And set boundaries.
set the boundaries.
And set boundaries, but be able to set the boundaries and know you get you. If how you say it, what I'm working on right now is your own self-care.
Yeah.
You have to
That's
do what's
it.
best for you to make you feel good and not try to please everybody else, because at the end of the day, like my mom would say, when you're dead and gone, they'll still be doing the same thing anyway. So you have to really watch out for yourself. And that's what I learned in my therapy classes, that you have to put self first. You have to know your limitations and where your strengths and weaknesses are, and be able to say no when you really mean no, say it, and they just have to accept it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then too, Miss Deidre said something else too. She said, and when you notice your other friends flipping out, because you're doing the work, like you just said, when you're doing the work in your own self and you
Right.
notice it in other people, now you get to give grace, right?
Right.
You get to say, now I know my
Yeah.
intentions. So you tripping right now, friend. What's going
Right.
on?
Exactly.
My saying, the devil's a liar, the truth ain't in him. You might want to calm it down.
Calm it down. Wait
Calm
a
it
minute
down.
now. Me and Jessica probably fight every 20 minutes, I think.
No, it's not that often, friend. It's
I'm
not
just kidding. I'm
often.
just kidding. But no, just how you guys got on the phone, got right on the call, and you two started bickering. That was that's me and Jessica every
That's
day.
every day with this one here.
Because it's like, wait, friend, I didn't mean it that way, but we automatically catch it. So if I catch an attitude, or I shut down, or she catches an attitude, or she shuts down, we're starting to recognize it in each other, because we're first recognized it in ourselves, and we
Right.
say, hey, friend, wait, I'm a safe place for you. I'm not, this is not what you think it is, right?
I am not your enemy.
I'm not your enemy. I'm a safe place for you. And let's rewind. Why are you upset? Okay.
That intentionality in securing our friendship over the last, like, I don't know how long we've been.
I'm your enemy. I'm a safe place for you. And let's mute the live.
That intentionality in securing our friendship over the
Playing the live.
Okay.
There we go.
Has been super beneficial, because I'm a natural runner. Like, I have to really work hard not to run away and avoid relationships or avoid conflict. And Carlisa was like, "No, dog, we ain't doing that." Like when we kind of hit that 2-year mark, and I moved away. We met in Michigan, and I moved to Georgia. She didn't allow that to happen. I'm grateful for her being merciful and gracious to me in that way. And then us working through some of those moments where we misunderstood each other. Like, our relationship has taught me, I'm not married. I don't have a spouse. I don't have nobody else to buffer against, so our relationship has helped grow me up in how I deal in relationships, and identifying some of those spaces in me as a result of those unmet needs. So
friends, yes, this has been a great journey, Jess and I. Woo. But and it's been super great too, having people like Miss Deidre and Miss Cynthia too in my back pocket, because there were times where I would even get out of pocket and they'd be like, "Who you talking to?" Nobody.
Yeah.
I was talking to the door. and but then two, them come to me saying, "Get over here, like, I got your back. We're not doing this," and
Ooh, those type of reaffirming conversations are so important. Instead of just like, I'm gonna go off and we're gonna walk away, like, we're gonna acknowledge what's going on and then reaffirm, like, I'm here for you, I love you, this is good. Right. But no, I hurt you no more.
Right. But don't you talk to me like that. Yeah.
Cynthia
done caught me up a couple times in the back of the church. But
I just give it a look. I give it a look like
and I'm like,
the look is so scary.
So yes, thank you ladies so much for joining me today. I really, really, really hope that you just enjoy that episode. Episode 1 down.
I just love this part here. Like I said, I'm gonna call my mom because there's a lot of stuff I need to discuss with her, because I'm like, oh wow, I need to call my sisters too and apologize, because I was the oldest one at home. I need to call and do some apologizing to them, because it did open up a lot of stuff.
Yes. And that's what the point is that daddy issues, we call them daddy because it deals with parenting, but daddy issues can stem from literally anybody who is in a place of authority. Like, it could stem from your aunt, your uncle, your big sister, your whoever, your mom even. Okay.
Right.
Daddy issues can come from mamas too. Yeah. So we want to make sure that we can acknowledge that. And then, like you said, do the work. Like, I love that. I'm going to go call my mom and apologize to my sister.
That's really
open a lot of stuff. And with me, like I was saying, with me going to my own therapy classes, the pastor that spoke touched on a lot of stuff that we talked about, in some of our classes. So I'm like, I related to what she was talking about, So yeah, it was pretty good. I liked it. It's good.
Hey, thank you. So you guys know that you are now officially my edges. So people keep asking me, what is with this edges? Why are you so obsessed with edges, y'all?
I'm glad y'all ain't my edges. I got to put a little jam on
touch to him, right, Miss Deidre? So basically, the name of the book club is Edge. Let me show y'all. Edge, which stands for every day, give everything. Every day, give everything. And so people who follow me, I'm calling you my edges. So it's a double meaning, because you're part of the book club Edge and you're my edges. And me and my girlfriend, shout out to Latia. She's in, where's she at? New York. She said, when we were trying to grow our hair out, and she made a comment about edges, and she's like, "No, Carlisa, it doesn't matter how long your hair is. If you don't have edges, you don't have nothing." and so I thought that was clever, and it stuck. So literally, you guys are my edges, and if you guys weren't here, it's like, if you don't have edges, you don't have nothing. So I appreciate you guys following me and sticking it out with me today. And so let me tell you, those of you, if you don't have the novel or the interactive guide, it's upside down. Bing. Make sure, yes, boom, novel right there, interactive guide. I love it. Make sure you head over to moffatbooks.net to get a copy of that today. And this beautiful calendar is also on there. You can shop the bundle where you buy the whole thing together, and I will personally sign them and mail them to you. Or you can buy them separately. Yay. Or you can buy them separately on Amazon, and then, and do it that way as well. See, look at this beautiful picture. How could you pass that beautifulness up? So do that. Also, go to my YouTube channel and subscribe, people. I need 100 subscribers. Is that the right word? 100 subscribers. So let's go ahead and head over there too. All right. Thank you guys so much. Our next meeting is going to be Saturday, June 11th. And we're going to be covering chapters 1 through 4 and step 2 in the interactive guide. All right, ladies. Thank you.
All right.
So much.
See ya.
Later. Wait, before everyone say it, every day, give everything.
Every day, give everything.
Beautiful. All right.
Every day. Every
Bye,
day.
ladies.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Escape, read, truth with my